Hello everybody, welcome to the lunch table. My name's Evan. Today I'm joined with Zach, Joel, and Nick, and today we're going to be giving our free agency grades. Free agency's kind of died down here, but lots of moves happened. Lots of teams got a lot better, lots of teams got worse, and we're gonna give our grades for each team. But before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at lunchtable.takes. Bad. Moving into the NFC, the Cowboys again. Didn't do anything.
F.
They released Michael Gallup, Leighton Vander Esch retired. They signed Eric Kendricks, and that's really it.
Yeah, the Cowboys actually did not do really anything.
I'm going to give them a D+, only because I think Eric Kendricks is actually a decent player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, other than that, they signed 4 players.
I'll give them a D+ just for the fact that they already had a good team. They didn't need to do that much.
Yeah, but they literally did nothing.
Oh, I know.
I'll give them
didn't do anything.
D+. I'll be nicer, I guess.
All right. Let's move to Philly. They had a big signing.
Yeah.
Like we said, we mentioned it earlier.
You're definitely talking about Kenny Pickett, right?
Yes. They traded away. Why am I thinking his name? Hassan Reddick. They lost Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey. They both retired. They extended Landon Dickerson for 4 years, $84 million.
Lost DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, they lost DeAndre Swift, but they replaced him with Saquon Barkley for 3 years, $38 million. They brought in Bryce Huff for 3 years, $51 million. They brought in C.J. Gardner-Johnson for 3 years, $33 million. And they traded for Kenny Pickett.
And you forgot one in there. Devin White.
And Devin White.
I'm giving him an A. I think they did well this offseason. Don't get me wrong, they got holes to fill with old retiring guys, but you upgrade with Saquon. Don't get me wrong, you go defensive end is losing Hassan Reddick sucks, but at the same time, that defensive line is still nice.
It's a really good.
Still
it's
really
kind of
nice.
Terrifying defensive line.
Still really nice, and you got better in the secondary, which you needed help with Gardner-Johnson. They were in need of a linebacker too. Devin White's a good linebacker. I think I would say A or A-.
I'm going to give him a B. I think it was a bit of good, a bit of bad.
Fair. I will give them a B+. I don't think Devin White is that great. He has a great highlight reel, but in terms of actually covering, he's a terrible coverage linebacker. He's genuinely one of the worst coverage linebackers in the entire NFL. And then C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think that obviously we think of this Eagles defense as the Eagles defense from a couple years ago where they were elite, top 5 level defense. But they were bad.
Yeah,
they were not a good unit last year. So I think signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to help with that on paper. Extending Landon Dickerson, signing Brandon Graham, again Devin White, all right signing. Bryce Huff. I think they got a lot better on paper on the defensive side. Losing Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox hurts a lot.
But they can replace them.
Yeah, they definitely can. It's kind of transferring from the old guard to the new guard.
Landon Dickerson.
Or Cam Jurgens.
Yeah.
Cam Jurgens, I forgot about him. But even on the defensive side of the ball, you got
Jordan Davis
and Jalen Carter.
Yeah. So it didn't really
It is what it is.
don't get me wrong. Fletcher Cox is a great player.
Yeah, I will say this.
It's the culture more.
I thought it was hilarious when Saquon Barkley signed with the Eagles and all the Giants fans act like he murdered an entire family or something. You're dead to me.
You're dead to me.
They act like he murdered an entire family of people.
He did go to a division round.
He did, but still.
And that's a pretty big rivalry too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you went on Twitter, Giants fans act like he
crucified somebody.
Even though they didn't give him any good reason to stay.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
the Giants are terrible.
The Giants front office was openly hoping him to leave. They gave Daniel Jones $40 million a year, and now Saquon Barkley is on their fiercest rival. What are we doing?
So bad.
That's egregious.
Yeah, I thought it was really hilarious on social media that they acted the way that they did. So yeah, I'll give them a B+. I think they had a really good offseason. I just don't think it was elite.
Yeah, I'll go B+ as well, just because that rushing attack with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley is going to be disgusting. Saquon said the only thing that he needs to make sure he does is he does not get tackled inside the 1 yard line, or he's going to lose a lot of touchdowns. Other than that, he should be fine.
Valid.
Speaking of the New York Giants, they traded for Brian Burns, and that's basically it.
I'm going to give the Giants a D-.
They got Brian Burns. but they lost Saquon, obviously, and they replaced him with Devin Singletary.
I'm gonna give him an F.
What an upgrade.
I'm gonna give him an F.
This Giants team.
They spent a little money on the offensive line, but nothing too crazy.
This is a horrible franchise.
Yeah.
Bad football team.
And they're already
completely
instantly regretting the Daniel Jones contract. Which they've openly said that
Listen,
they do.
This is a
in
dumpster fire of a
terms
team.
this free agency period, I don't think it's F-worthy. I will give them a D+. I mean, I think Devin Singletary's okay. Drew Lock is an okay backup. Getting Brian Burns for a 5th-round pick is...
I have him,
Yeah.
Kevon, and Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's
That's
nasty.
a pretty good defense.
Oh, no, they got Brian Burns
For like a third.
and a 2024 5th, and they traded a 2024 2nd and a next
When the
conditional
Panthers
5th
could have gotten
rounder.
2 firsts from the Rams 2 years
Yeah.
ago. They're morons.
Like, it's the definition of moral.
Letting see...
Panthers are so bad.
It's bad. But yeah, I think Devin Singletary's decent. Brian Burns is obviously really good, but I mean, letting your best offensive player in genuinely like 5 years go to a divisional rival is really bad. Yeah. So
I'll give him. What'd you give him?
I gave him a D+.
I'll give him a C-. I like the Brian Burns trade. They didn't have to give a ton to get him, and I think that defensive line with Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and him is going to be pretty good. But yes, losing Saquon and having to pay Daniel Jones that much money is awful.
They will
C-
get F if they draft J.J. McCarthy in the top 6.
C- for me. Yeah, that's valid. C- for me. I'm gonna go based off the same reasons as Evan.
The Commanders, they had an interesting
They had
offseason.
one of the offseasons.
They signed Austin Eckler for some reason with Brian.
For some reason.
With Brian Robinson. They got Jeremy Chin's good contract. They brought in Marcus Mariota. They brought in Frankie Louvu. Zach Ertz. Anybody else?
I think this is an interesting offseason.
Yeah, they didn't really do. Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
They signed Bobby Wagner.
Yeah,
I
they,
just think-
they just signed a lot of guys who were good like 5 years ago who are no longer good.
Yeah.
Like
Dante Fowler
this
Jr.
team in like
Dante
20
Fowler
in like
Jr.
2019 would have been really good.
Legit.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of just like
Mid.
I'll give this a C-. I just don't think this is just a strange offseason. I'm just like scratching my head pondering what they're doing.
Do you think it's more maybe you try to build a culture with veteran guys and go from there?
That's the only thing I can think of because they're not in the spot to win. They're in more of a rebuilding spot.
I do like their ad of Cleveland Farrell and Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, those are two
young guys that you
boomer
can build
bust
around.
guys. Yeah, that could develop.
I gave the Patriots a C-, so I'm gonna give the Commanders also a C-. But I'm just like, it's just confusing.
I just don't understand.
It's a
Austin
Yeah,
Eckler
why are you signing Austin Eckler? I don't understand.
when you have Brian.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
Better.
Yeah, he is better.
I mean,
It's
Austin
just-
Eckler's basically just going to be a glorified Antonio Gibson.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll give them a C-. I'll give them the same grade I gave the Patriots because they had similar off seasons. They're gonna draft a quarterback in the top 3. They have the cap space to build for the future. But they didn't do much.
I'll give them a C- as well. I didn't really see the direction of it. I guess like Joel said, you're trying to set a culture that makes sense because they just got a new owner. But they're a rebuilding team that drafted a lot of vets out of their prime who really aren't that great, and so I don't really understand it. But
C- from me. I feel the same reasons.
all right, let's move on to the NFC North. Me and Joel talked about the NFC North. The Lions. They brought in
Lions.
Kevin Zeitler. They brought in Donovan Peoples-Jones. They traded for Carlton Davis. They brought in Marcus Davenport, and then they re-signed a lot of their guys. They re-signed Graham Glasgow, Manuel Mosley.
They also brought in
DJ Reader.
And they brought in DJ Reader from the Bengals.
I'll give them a B+. I think they had a pretty good offseason.
The thing is, they didn't
didn't-
lose anything.
Yeah.
They genuinely, I feel, just got better,
Yeah.
especially on defense. They needed somebody in the secondary that could help them. Don't get me wrong, you lost CJ, but
He didn't
he
play.
didn't play him. Yeah, he barely played.
Yeah, plus you have Brian Branch.
Yeah. But you brought in Carlton Davis. He's going to make an instant impact. Marcus Davenport's going to make an impact. And DJ Reader up the middle.
And then Aleem McNeil is going to be fun to play against.
I'm giving him. I'm going to go with an A-.
Yeah. I'm also gonna go with an A-. A-. I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but the Detroit Lions may actually be like one of the best teams. They went to the NFC title game last year. They might be like NFC, like true NFC contenders now. Like you said, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Carlton Davis, Emmanuel Mosley, and like you said, I think I gave Pittsburgh kind of the similar grade because I didn't think they moved the needle. The difference is Detroit brought their guys back as well. Detroit was already an elite caliber team with the roster that they currently had, and they brought all the guys they needed to bring back and also improve themselves defensively. So I'm going to give them an A-. I think this team's really, really, really good with the additions that they made.
I'll go A- too. I think the DJ Reader signing's huge for them. I think getting Carlton Davis is a big upgrade in their secondary, which they needed help at. And then, like you guys said, they signed other guys. All right, Green Bay Packers.
Another good offseason.
Yeah, they signed Josh Jacobs to 4 years, $48 million. They then released Aaron Jones, and they signed Xavier McKinney 4 years.
Which, hey, real quick, we called.
They re-signed Keyshawn Nixon, which we also called, and then they re-signed A.J. Dillon. But yeah, what do you think? What do you guys think of their? I mean, I'll start this one.
Go for it.
Josh Jacobs is a massive upgrade over Aaron Jones. Like I said in our Packers off-season breakdown video, I thought Xavier McKinney was going to be a huge upgrade for them. He's just coming off a great year, and he's young. But yeah, I think this team is in a spot now where there's a decent amount of weapons around Jordan Love. And now they can prioritize either drafting a receiver or going defense. And yeah, I think they got a lot better, considering that the rest of their division also got better. I think they fit right in with that. So I'm going to give them a B+.
I'll go with a B+ as well. And we even said this from the get-go, too. Guys that we thought were going to be like cap casualties they needed released, they even happened to. David Bakhtiari, I felt the writing was on the wall there.
Yeah.
So you do have some. Obviously, you're still going to have some holes. I think they could definitely potentially use another corner. I'm going to go with a B+ though. You got definitely an upgrade at running back, and you have a two-headed monster now with Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon.
Yeah. What's funny is that video is our 4th most watched video ever.
The Packers.
And it's 1 view away from tying for 3rd, which is wild.
Nice. Look at us go.
The Batman video is still our most.
Yes. Somehow.
So, what does that tell us?
I'm gonna give the Packers a B+.
I think I will give them a B+. The only thing keeping them from being an A, I thought the A.J. Dillon signing was kind of like weird.
Yeah.
Especially for a position that's kind of I don't want to say expendable because like
You definitely could go out and get a different
but
one.
you could go out and get a guy that's just as good as A.J. Dillon for less money. But I mean, Josh Jacobs, huge upgrade. Xavier McKinney.
I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, I did not see going to the Packers. Keyshawn Nixon re-signing is huge. Famous receiver Xavier McKinney now on there. If you watch the live stream, you get that. But yeah,
I forgot you said that.
famous receiver Xavier McKinney fits a glove in a position of need. I thought they had a really good offseason. I'll give them a B+.
There. All right, Minnesota Vikings. The biggest thing for them was they lost Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
But they brought in Jonathan Grenard for 4 years, $76 million. They brought in Andrew Van Ginkel for 2 years. They brought in Sam Darnold for 1 year. They signed Aaron Jones for a year.
I'm gonna throw mine out and let you guys do the rest here. I'm gonna give them a C+. Losing Kirk Cousins was a humongous blow for him.
I was going to say, are you going to elaborate on that at all, or are you just going to go C+?
I just think losing Kirk Cousins was very, very bad for him, and I don't really think they did anything super noteworthy. I mean, Aaron Jones is okay. Yeah, I don't think they really did anything super noteworthy except lose Kirk Cousins.
I think I'll give them a C. I think definitely upgrade running back wise. Lose it, and Zach, you already alluded to it. Losing Kirk Cousins is a big blow, which opens the door to potential quarterback J.J. McCarthy.
And potential to lose Justin Jefferson.
Potential to lose Jay Jettas too while we're at it.
Which would bring him to an F.
Which would be very
The biggest blunder ever.
Which would be very bad. But I think you go out. Their defense, I feel, got better.
Yeah,
Their defense got
is
better.
I mean, they brought Grenard to replace.
Daniil Hunter.
Did we call that too?
We did
I
call.
feel like I said Grenard somewhere. I can't remember
Yes.
if I said him for the Vikings or not.
I think you actually did.
I might have.
I think you actually did. It was either them or the.
It was somebody.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. But even they got better at linebacker. And that was one of their biggest
Blake
issues.
Cashman was good.
Like Cashman and Andrew Van Ginkel both can fill a role. So I'm gonna give them a C, just for. It's gonna be hard. You lost a starting tackle. You lost lost 2 defensive ends and your quarterback.
I'm gonna give them a C minus. I mean, like you said, they upgraded on defense with Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, Blake Cashman, and then they getting Aaron Jones from the Packers, kind of like the Aldi version of Saquon Barkley going to the Eagles.
Yeah.
But I can't overlook losing Kirk Cousins.
Nope.
Because I think that's going to have a lot more ramifications than just losing Kirk Cousins. That might be a complete reset.
Yep.
For the way the Vikings want to go. They got Sam Darnold. I don't think Justin Jefferson's going to want to play with Sam Darnold. That's just me being real. I think it's going to have a lot more ramifications than just losing Kirk Cousins, but that's a different topic for a different video. So that's why I will give them a C minus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go C. I think they upgraded on defense, but like everyone said, losing Kirk is huge because I think this team is win now, but without Kirk, they're not. And now they're in a position to where they have to draft a quarterback, or like we all said, Jefferson is more than likely going to leave. And so yeah, they kind of have a massive question mark at quarterback, and I think they very well could be the worst team in this division coming next year. Now we got the Bears, who I think had a pretty good offseason. They re-signed Jalen Johnson to 4 years. They brought in Kevin Byard for 2 years, $15 million. They brought in DeAndre Swift for 3 years, $24 million. Jarrett Everett, 2 years, $12 million. They brought in, then they traded for Keenan Allen, like I mentioned earlier, but they also traded away Justin Jefferson.
Justin Fields.
Sorry, Justin Fields. But yeah, I think their offense now, I think, is pretty good. I mean, you have a wide receiving core of Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. Then you have Jarrett Everett at tight end with Cole Kmet, and then you have DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert at running back. And then you're going to more than likely add Caleb Williams to that. I think that's a pretty good offense. And then you could also even draft a receiver at 9 if you really wanted to, which would round out that offense even more.
That's absurd.
Yeah. I think Kevin Byard is good. They released Eddie Jackson, so he fits that role pretty well. Re-signing Jalen Johnson was huge for them. Their defense still needs some work, but I think overall they seem like they're trying their best to make Caleb Williams work out, which they didn't do with Fields. Caleb Williams won't have the excuse that he never had weapons because they have put weapons around him.
Yeah. Do you want me to start, or do you want to?
How short are you going to keep it?
You guys go.
All right. I am going to give them an A minus. I think if you talk about setting up your future franchise guy with talent, I think that they did a wonderful job of that. I think Keenan Allen is really good. I think DeAndre Swift is good, not great. I mean, you've got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. You re-signed Jalen Johnson. That's all huge. Gerald Everett's a good backup. I think they actually had a really good offseason. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. And like you alluded to, Caleb Williams is not going to have the excuse that he had no support because they have surrounded him. They got Keenan Allen for a 4th-round pick. That's absurd. How did the Chargers accept that? How are the why?
The craziest thing is they offered that to the Patriots. The Patriots said no.
That's just
They said it was too steep of an offer.
Yeah,
And now they're sitting here with Kendrick Bourne as a wide receiver 1.
I think the Bears did exactly what they needed to do in the position that they're in. I will give them an A minus, although I do still think Matt Eberflus needs to be fired.
Did I say my grade, or did I just explain why?
You didn't give your
I
grade.
think you gave everything but the grade.
I give him an A minus as well.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. I'm gonna give him a B. I think that they did have overall a pretty dang good offseason so far. it remains to be seen how this team performs under Matt Eberflus. And for that reason, I'm going to give him a B. Although I was utterly astounded at the Keenan Allen trade. I cannot believe that went through. But I do.
This is something you would do in Madden.
Yeah, seriously. Overall, I like their
fleece job.
Yeah,
as some may say.
The Bears have just been consistently fleecing people now. Like,
Yeah,
Ryan
Ryan
Poles
Poles is a
is a
great
great
GM.
like,
He's
are
a
they going to
fantastic
ever start
GM.
winning football
You
games, or are
forget-
they just going to keep fleecing
He was
people
the
and
general
losing?
manager of the Chiefs when
Yeah.
they got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So he kind of built the Chiefs team up.
Like, are they
He's
just
the
gonna
championship.
are they just gonna keep losing games and then fleecing people, or are they
Yeah.
gonna ever start winning games?
If the Bears don't
like-
turn around with Caleb Williams, they might actually be cursed.
They were a little bit better this year. They ended
Not
up-
by much.
I mean, they went from like a
They
4-win
went from
team
3-14 to 7
to 7-10.
Yeah.
That's,
That's an improvement.
and they got
Yeah.
a lot better. So they.
I don't know. I'm gonna give him a B though. I think I really like this is a good offseason. I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is insane. But like, this is a good offseason. The Keenan Allen trade was a sham.
That's absurd.
The Chargers should just be kicked out of the NFL at this point.
You got
All right,
I'm
your
gonna-
turn.
Yes.
Yes, I cannot wait for this.
Oh yeah, we had this conversation before. Nick, you're gonna like this.
I'm gonna go with a B minus.
Okay, that's fair though. But
It's fair.
keep going. Keep going.
B minus.
Do you really want to have this debate right now?
I don't want to
really wanna
have
this debate?
this debate because I need to get food and we're already late. But I would like you to at least say your point.
Or do you want me to
Nick,
save
we're
this
gonna-
for mock?
We're going to talk about this later.
All right, we'll do.
You can
say
you can
say
say my-
we'll
say
debate
my-
it
We
later.
won't say anything.
All right.
Okay.
I think you know where this is going.
I give them B minus. I like the moves that they made. Bringing in Keenan Allen for basically nothing, fantastic.
Yes.
DeAndre Swift, instant upgrade running back, no doubt in my mind. You got an outstanding defense
This is a
in
good looking
place.
offense.
Jalen Johnson, we talked about this on that podcast that we did together about the NFC North. They needed to bring him back, and they did. They screwed around for too long on deciding what the heck that they were going to do with Justin Fields.
Completely agree. Yes.
They screwed around for way too long.
They should have did this with Fields and then see what happens.
Yes. I'm going to say this. You're in a position right now. You've improved your offense, yes. And I'm still on this train, and I'm going to probably stick on it. I know
He's going to die on this.
I'm going to die on this train. Justin Fields is going to turn Pittsburgh around a lot, and I feel like he could have done it with Chicago. And what I'm going to say is this. I think that what you got for Justin Fields, a 6th-round pick, is a disgrace. I think that's a disgrace. When, honestly, in my opinion, which my opinion doesn't mean jack squat, but you have holes at a lot of different positions right now. And there's a ton of people and a ton of teams that need a quarterback right now. You trade that number 1, you get 3 first-rounders, and you get you want to build a team, here you go. And you, right now, if you're not that sold on Justin Fields right now, my thing is you give him a 1-year prove it. Here you go. We've given you all this right now. All of our cards are in. We're going to put the trust in you. We've literally gave up the first overall pick. We got all this new draft capital to better the team overall.
Yeah.
That's where I'm standing.
Well, okay.
And I'm going to give them a B minus because they handled the Justin Fields, the quarterback situation, so poor. They could have got so much more for Justin Fields.
So my thing with that is, like, I think that they should have actually. Yeah, that's not what I thought you were going to say, and I was hoping you were going to say that, but I guess we'll save that for later. But
Do you want me to say it?
let me say this.
Do you want me to say it?
Yes, but let me say my part first. So I think my only complaint with it, I agree 100% with everything you said, but my only thing is I think you're a little high on Fields. Like the whole thing about him turning around the Steelers, I don't know. I think you're a little high on him, but I do agree with everything you said, though. I think that they should have given Fields these weapons like a year ago and let him play and see what happens. Because Fields with this core might not be that bad. Like, he might be like a top 15
That's
quarterback
not how
with
his
this
deal
core.
works, though. You had to accept his option by this offseason.
Okay, so accept.
It'll be more than a one-year prove it.
I like what you're talking about, though. I think they should have either given him this core. They should have given him this core earlier, Or they should have given him, like, all right, you got one more year with this core. We're trading our first-round pick. We're getting 3 or 4 first rounds. Like,
15 mil.
but seriously, if you give Fields one more year with this core, you trade that first overall pick, you get a freaking 3 or 4 first-round picks. If Fields is not the guy, they can get another quarterback very easily. Anyways, continue.
Next year's class is a good class of quarterbacks coming in too.
They can definitely. And if Fields is not the guy, they're still going to be below 8 wins.
My only thing to that is the only thing I'm going to say is you're never guaranteed to be in that position again.
That is very true.
What position?
To be in the position that.
Top 3
Yeah, they're not going to be in the position to have a top 3 pick.
Well, it depends who trades for the number 1 this year and how many firsts they get. Anyways, there you go.
You can say what you need to say.
I think the Caleb Williams hype is not there, and I think he's going to be a bust.
Yes!
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that more later.
Debate about that later.
This got to be fun.
Sounds like the Bengals just signed like freaking Justin Jefferson. Or
Yeah, the Bengals traded for
That
Justin Jefferson.
that wasn't worth that, Zach. I hope
Yes,
you
it
know
was. You don't understand what I went through when I said that on the last podcast. I didn't even say he's going to be a bust. I said he's bust material.
I could
and
see it
these
happen.
guys shot me with a rocket. It was unreal. Like, you don't even understand what I went through when I said he might be a bust. So I'm just so happy to see someone agree with me.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay,
Tampa
that's
Bay and the NFC South.
Re-sign Baker.
They re-signed Baker and Mike Evans, and they signed Jordan Whitehead. That's basically it.
They also re-signed Levante David.
And they gave Baker Mayfield his.
And
did you say
they
that?
franchise tagged Antoine Winfield.
Yes. So they were kind of just
They're
like
like
they re-signed a lot of their guys.
They're like the NFC version of the Colts.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a B minus.
I will also give them a B minus.
I'll give him a B.
That's fair.
They kind of just they did what the Colts did. They re-signed all their key guys.
Yeah, but they were a good team last year.
Yeah,
they got
they
good
were,
guys. I think this is a B minus.
Actually, I'll give him a B minus based off of the fact that they traded probably their best corner too in Carlton Davis.
We won't have to talk long about this team. The Saints, they signed Chase Young, but they lost Marcus May. They released Michael Thomas. They extended Tyrann Mathieu. They signed Willie Gay.
Can I bring something up real quick?
Sure.
When I said that, I just look over it. I didn't even need to look over at Nick. He just goes,
Dude, no, I was like,
He
I
was
wasn't like mad. I was like, oh, okay.
I said he's bust material, and this dude was boiling.
okay. Continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off
That's what I
topic.
had to say.
I'm gonna give him a D plus. Wasn't anything crazy. Go get Chase Young. I like it, but you still have a bunch of oldies. Your defense is
Their
a lot of
core's
oldies.
aging.
Yeah.
For sure.
You didn't really get better. Willie Gay is a pretty good ad.
Yeah.
I mean, but
He's all right.
he's all right.
I'll give him a. What did you give him?
I gave him a D plus.
I give him a C minus. I think Chase Young's kind of like a boomer bust guy.
Yeah,
but I think it was. I was happy they released Michael Thomas. 'Cause
Yes.
They needed to do that a while ago.
Yes.
I think I'm on the C minus train. I'm not like a D is like
New wide
terrible.
receiver 1.
New wide receiver 1, Cedric Wilson. Let's go.
I'm gonna give him a C minus.
I think I will give them a B plus. I think Chase Young is kind of overrated. Tyrann Mathieu is good, but he's getting up there in age. Same thing with Demario Davis. He's good, but he's getting up there in age.
Jonathan Abram getting up there in age.
Getting up there in age. And the Saints just cheat the salary cap every year. They're not going in a direction where they're going to contend in the near future. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
So they get a D plus for me.
Yeah. Right. Atlanta Falcons. They made a lot of moves.
Oh baby.
They brought in Kirk Cousins. Obviously, that was a big move. They signed Darnell Mooney, and they traded for Rondale Moore, so kind of shoring up that offense.
I'm giving the Atlanta Falcons an A minus. I think with bringing in Kirk Cousins, this is going to be a dang good football team. These guys are the clear division favorites, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to be great and allow them to actually use their offensive weapons.
Yeah. I will give them a B plus. Like you said, Kirk Cousins added there. I think they're clearly the favorites to win the NFC South this upcoming season. I think Darnell Mooney getting $39 million is absurd.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Yeah, that's a bit
That is an overpay and a half.
I would give that to Rondale Moore more than I would give it to Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, Rondale Moore. They They got Desmond Ritter for they traded away Desmond Ritter for Rondale Moore, just a 1-for-1 swap.
Perfect.
Yeah, he can make DoorDash commercials in Phoenix now. So yeah, there's that.
I'll also give the Falcons B+.
B+ for me too.
Very clearly the team to beat in the division.
Because Kirk Cousins is a massive upgrade over Desmond Ritter.
We went more in depth into the Kirk Cousins trade on our free agency live stream.
Yeah, we
where
talked
we
about
judged
that.
individual deals.
Yeah,
so.
we talked about that for a
The
while.
big thing for me with that one is he's an older guy coming off an Achilles injury,
Yeah,
so
we
that's
talked about
that's
that.
the issue. That's the
That's-
only.
I
Since
think-
I wasn't on that, that's my only.
I think that's why the Vikings didn't bring him back as well. All right, now the Panthers.
Jeez,
They lost Brian Burns. They signed Robert Hunt for 5 years, $100 million. Damian Lewis, 4 years, $53 million. They traded for Deontay Johnson. And they signed Dane Jackson, Jordan Fuller, DJ Wanham, Caleb on Chase.
They got better on
better.
offense. They got better on offense, but you traded
Your best
defensive players.
for a lot less than you could have.
A bag of chips.
I'm gonna give these guys an F.
I'm gonna give him an F.
I would give them an F if we're just judging the last year of operations.
Yes,
Yes.
I would agree with that.
But I think solely for this free agency period, I'll give them like a C.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean they got Deontay Johnson. I actually think that was a good trade.
Yeah, I
Deontay
do,
Johnson's a good
That's
receiver.
fair. I'll give him a D minus.
Jadavian Clowney, he's on his
Maybe
sixth
just get
team in
Jadavian
7 years.
Oh yeah.
That's not the
Well,
career
he's
I'm gonna
not
bump that
like-
back down to an F.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him I'm gonna give him a D. I'm gonna give him a D.
Yeah.
Hey, it bumped him up too.
Nick Scott's okay. Jordan Fuller's all right.
Nick Scott is not okay. Nick.
He's pretty bad.
He's just a backup to a rookie 3rd round pick.
I know nothing.
We swapped Nick Scott for Von Bell, and they're paying majority of Von Bell's salary.
All right. Ashawn Robinson's okay. Robert Hunt.
Panthers are so stupid.
Robert Hunt is a good offensive
Yeah.
guard.
Yes, Robert Hunt was a good.
Yeah.
Damian Lewis was a good
was
one.
5 years, $100 million. Was that a legitimate contract? Or
Yeah.
was that overpaid?
I think
Robert
that's legit.
I know
think
Robert
that's.
Hunt's fair. He's like 24.
Yeah.
I think that's a legit.
But I just hadn't. I hadn't seen cards.
I think that's a legit deal.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I think in terms of ability, it's probably a slight overpay. But like you said, he's only 24. He's only.
You're gonna pay your
you
young
had
guys.
to protect Bryce. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give
And
him
they
this-
did that a lot. They did that a lot. That was their emphasis this
Yeah.
offseason.
They're running 2 guards
Which is a
Brought
good
in 2
thing.
guards and a
That's good
tackle.
thing.
and a wide receiver.
I'll give them a C. I think this particular free agency period was average for me.
I'll see as
But in terms of their last year of operations, they
Definitely
could not fail more than they have.
I think it'd be an F minus, literally.
I think it could be an F minus.
Yeah.
I'll
think
go with the C as well.
Before we move on to the
NFC
West, I would just like to point out that I think the Panthers might genuinely be the worst franchise in the entire sports world.
Yeah.
I would agree with you,
I
brother.
want to say. I want to say one thing about
I
Carolina.
would agree with you,
about-
brother.
about the
Actually, no, I can't say that. Portland Trailblazers right now. Powers and the Panthers.
Scoot Henderson,
They have lost.
Scoot Henderson had a minus like 58.
Yeah,
plus
minus 50.
Yes.
Plus minus last night. That's the worst
Zach,
NBA history.
Zach, they have lost multiple games this year by 60 plus. Oh!
In basketball?
Yes,
That's
60 plus.
wild.
They are poverty.
Okay, they might be worse than
Okay,
the Panthers.
I want to say one thing about the Panthers before we move on. So I was actually in Charlotte this past week, and we went to the Panthers stadium, and we went to like the pro shop, and they had all their like soccer stuff because they have
Soccer,
a soccer
yeah.
team. And so we asked them, we were like, why is there more soccer stuff than Panther stuff? And they're like, well, A, it's soccer season, not
Football season.
not football season, but B, more people go to the soccer games than they go to the football games. Like nobody goes to the football games.
Well, do you remember that tickets were
We're
like
like $1 or
50
something.
cents.
50
during
cents.
the monsoon.
But the Knicks said their soccer team's actually really good.
Their soccer team has a lot of support.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
But the
wouldn't say that they're
Panthers,
good,
the
but-
Panthers also, I would hate.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this franchise is just terrible.
They're in a rough spot right now.
Harvard.
It could not be
Well, they
worse,
asked
like you said.
Pat McAfee asked Ryan Poles. He was like, "So the Panthers trade?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "It worked out pretty well for you, didn't it?" He was like, "Yeah." All right, last division we have NFC
And then
West.
we can get food.
San
Play
Francisco,
basketball.
San Francisco 49ers. They brought in Leonard Floyd,
Oh, we're going San Fran.
and then kind of again just re-signed a lot of guys. They lost Eric Armstead, but Leonard Floyd is good. We talked about him a lot. What do you guys think? They're about Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs, Eater, Gross Matos. They really, I feel like their big emphasis was on defense.
Done like 15 minutes.
Their big emphasis was on defense. I feel like overall it was a good.
We'll still play for like 3.
I'm gonna give them a B. I think it was good. Actually, gonna downgrade that C plus.
I was gonna go C plus as well. I
C
like Leonard
plus.
Floyd a lot, but I
Noah
don't
says
think.
how long.
But I don't think.
Tell them we'll be there by 8.
Yeah, we'll be there by.
Be there by 8.
If you want to get food, we'll be there by
Yeah.
8. But if you don't want to get food, we'll be there before 8.
I will give them a C minus. I think that they got slightly worse over the course of this free agency. I think losing Eric Armstead is big for them.
Yep.
And I don't really. They obviously didn't really get a guy to
Are they keeping?
replace him.
Are they keeping? I have his name. Brandon Ayuk.
There is potential that they trade him.
Yeah, there is potential he gets traded. I think that he'll be traded next offseason, if I were to take a guess, either him or Debo. But I think the Niners got slightly worse during this free agency period. They're still obviously an elite team.
Yeah.
They were this close to winning the Super Bowl again this past year.
Because they didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, they didn't have a ton of money. So I think they got
What's your
slightly
grade?
worse. I'll give them a C minus.
And
I'm gonna give him a C.
this one did not belong to the Reds.
Yeah, shout out to the Reds for choking a 6-4 lead in the 9th inning.
Thanks,
Typical Reds fan.
thanks, Alexis Diaz.
All right. LA Rams. They signed Jonah Jackson, 3 years, $51 million. They signed Cameron Curl. They signed Jimmy G. But they lost Aaron Donald.
I will also be giving these guys probably about a C minus.
They also re-signed Kevin Dotson.
That is a big one.
re-sign.
I will give them a C plus.
Yeah,
I think
that was
re-signing
what I
Kevin
was going to
Dotson
give them.
is big. Jonah Jackson's a good signing.
That's a big one.
Yeah. They get an A plus in the handsome factor with Jamie Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So I'll give them a C. C plus in terms of ability. A plus in terms of handsomeness.
I'll go C plus as well. They they shored up that guard position with Dotson and Jackson. Cam Curl is a good safety, but you're losing Aaron Donald. It was out of their control, but that's a big loss.
They signed for Davis White too.
And
They did just sign
Darius
Trey White.
Williams.
Yeah.
They brought Darius Williams
Yeah.
back too.
So
So I mean,
Their secondary's better.
B minus for me.
Trey White just can't stay healthy
Yeah,
when it matters.
yeah. I'm gonna go B minus. The bit and
I said a C or C minus.
I would say
I'll give him
it's
C
a
then.
B minus to that C range because, I mean, it's out of their control, like you
But
said.
Aaron
But
Donald.
Aaron Donald's that's such a
that's
big
a big
loss.
Yeah.
Shout out to Aaron Donald though, first ballot Hall
Great
of Famer,
career.
Yeah, it's
phenomenal
fantastic.
career, terrifying human being. Yeah.
I have a buddy that got.
why couldn't you have
I gotta-
retired like in 2020?
That would have been nice.
I have a buddy that has a picture with him.
That's
That's
sick.
sick.
How?
Huh? He was at a bar up in Toledo.
Did he say he's
Aaron Donald?
Yeah.
Why?
He went to Buffalo. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of
That's
like.
crazy.
Dude.
He didn't go to Buffalo.
No, he went to Pitt.
Pitt.
He went to Pitt.
Pitt.
I was thinking of Khalil Mack for
Khalil
whatever
Mack.
reason.
Where's Buffalo even at? Is it
Buffalo's in
Toledo?
New York.
Oh, why would they be?
You're
I don't
all sorts
know.
of wrong.
What?
But no, he has a picture and everything with
There you
him.
go.
I wonder if he was like terrified of him.
He's
I
like-
would be.
well, he saw him and he's like, "Man, who is this big
probably
dude?"
didn't
Oh
think
wait,
he was
that's Aaron Donald.
He probably thought he was like a bouncer or something.
Yeah.
All right, Seattle Seahawks. They released Jamal Adams, contradicting to this league, but they re-signed Leonard Williams and Noah Fant. They brought in George Fant, and they traded for Sam Howell, brought in Jerome Baker. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
C. Nothing too out there.
I think I will give them a C plus. I think Sam Howell is.
I like that.
I like that.
I don't think that's that bad of a trade. You put him behind Geno Smith, he can learn behind a seasoned.
Plus, Gino's out of his contract after this year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He can learn behind a seasoned guy. If Sam Howell works out, you can maybe plug him in as a starter. If he doesn't, you draft a quarterback next year. Re-signing Leonard Williams,
That's
was huge. And then obviously cutting Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs,
Saves a lot
taking
of
up.
money.
Yeah, it saves a lot of money. Jerome Baker is an all right linebacker. I think they got better, but they didn't really like do anything super crazy. So
Yeah.
I'll give them a C plus.
Hey, you know what else they brought in? Pharaoh Brown. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That
a funny name.
It's a fun name.
Farrell.
C+ for me.
Yeah, I'll go C+ too. I like the Sam Howell trade. I thought that was kind of an underrated trade.
Yeah.
Could work out in their favor.
Yeah.
All right, now the Arizona Cardinals.
Final team.
Zach, we made it.
They signed Sean Murphy-Bunting for 3 years. They signed Jonah Williams for 2 years. They traded for Desmond Ridder, but they did lose Rondale Moore and Marquise Brown, so they do not have any receivers on their team.
They'll have one.
They will
They'll have one in about a month.
You never know. They're shopping that pick right now for some reason, so they could trade out of. They're thinking of trading out of 4 and moving down.
No, that's not right.
Unless they
I'd
think
look it up.
unless they think that
Marv's going to be gone.
Marv's going to be gone at 3.
If he's gone at 3, trade it on draft night. Don't trade it now. Don't be foolish.
Yeah, Cardinals listening to calls on number 4 draft pick.
Okay, so they're listening. They're
Yeah,
not.
they're listening to calls. They're not actively trying to field it.
No, but like
That makes it. They'd be foolish because you know the first 3 picks of the draft are going to be quarterback.
He said that he was open to trading the pick.
Hypothetically speaking, real quick, before we give our grades, what would you have to receive if you're the Cardinals to trade this pick?
Minimum 2 firsts.
Minimum 2.
At least 2.
Yeah, I would say minimum like 2 firsts.
Well, because I'm just thinking realistically, the people who are trying to call up is the
Vikings
who have 11 and 23, and then you can also
Wait a second.
and then
Hold
you
up.
also
Hold up.
get like a second
Hear me out.
or third.
They should trade down to 5.
Hear me out. You get 1. They want to bring in a quarterback, right?
Yes,
You get 1 first rounder and Justin Jefferson.
for Kyler Murray.
Why?
I'm just saying.
Someone had them.
What does that accomplish for either team?
Someone had them trading Kyler Murray to the Vikings for like.
No, it wasn't Kyler Murray. It said Kyle Murray.
Kyle Murray.
I saw it and I sent it in our group chat, and I'm like,
Holy crap!
holy cow, what
You
just
read it
happened?
And you're like, this
Kyle
is
Murray.
And then I deleted it. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Hey, I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah, I'll give them a C as well. They got Jonah Williams, who's not good.
Yeah.
Yep.
They lost all their receivers.
Okay, I'm going to give him a D, actually.
Actually, no, yeah, I'll give them a C minus.
Yeah, ready?
Because they're like, our Jonah Williams is our franchise
I got it
tackle.
pulled up
No,
right
he's
here.
not.
I got it pulled up right
Sean
here. You
Wentz,
ready?
everything's okay.
The Vikings trade their 11th overall pick to the Cardinals for Pro Bowl quarterback Kyle Murray and pick 66. Former NFL GM Mike Tannenbaum proposed.
Mike Tannenbaum is an actual moron.
He is. He's the definition.
His latest mock draft was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's bad.
He had Marvin Harrison falling to 9.
What?
Unreal!
Yeah.
Does he think Malik Neighbors is like?
Yeah, he had him falling. But still, if
Like, Malik Neighbors is good.
If Marv doesn't,
Yeah, Malik
if-
Neighbors is good.
if Marv doesn't go in the top 5, every team from 6 to 10 is going to either be A, getting lots of trade offers, or B, just going to say screw it, we're
And
just going to
draft
take
Marv.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think the Titans are just going to be like, nah, we like Joe Alt better. Like,
Joe Alt's better.
He had Arizona
Like,
taking
no.
JJ.
yes. He had them trading, because he had them trading Kyler Murray
To who?
to the
The
Vikings.
Vikings.
And then he had JJ McCarthy. It was the worst mock
Um,
draft I have ever
If
seen.
the Giants are at 6 and they don't take Marv, you, oh my gosh.
In terms of their grade, I will give them a B. They lost their receivers and they signed Jonah Williams, and yeah.
I think I'm almost on the, I think I might have to give him an F here.
No, I don't think
No, it's not that bad.
Jonah Williams is terrible!
It still helps the position. Surprisingly, it helps
Still
with
an
the position.
upgrade.
It's an upgrade at a position of D.
D minus.
Fair.
D.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for our free agency grades. Let us know if you agree with our grades.
What grade you would give some teams if you disagree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we're heading into draft season, which is always a good time.
Mock Draft 2.0 coming out soon.
In the next week or two.
Yeah.
Zach, what was that?
But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed.